What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Real Fitness. Today, we've got one of our personal training clients, Jim, who's been with us for a little over 3 years, doing personal training with both Lucho and Mike. So, Jim's going to share his experience tag teaming Lucho and Mike for 3 years. So, we'll get into that. Start things off, man. Jim, let us know. What first brought you into real fitness? What got you started on your personal training journey with us?
I think it'd be like two answers for that. One would be I know it's not sexy, but the location. I literally live above the gym, one street up. And you know, growing up, being raised in Playa del Rey, it was really cool to see that you guys brought a gym to Playa del Rey. I don't think there ever had, and if there was one, it was never. I never heard of it.
It was
But
it
when
was
you
a
guys
liquor
came,
it was a liquor store
yeah,
before.
Hayward. There was Hayward.
It was
and it
Hayward.
was
Still
so
is
when you
Hayward.
guys came in, it was like, support the town, the city, and the local businesses. And on top of that, I was like kind of transitioning through jobs and just out of shape and seeing how hard my wife worked out. And she was a big inspiration of me getting into the gym. And then I walked down to the gym one day. I saw you guys, your business kept growing and growing. And I walked in and introduced myself to Lucho.
Was this your first time doing personal training?
Yes. Yeah. I had been a member of Equinox and a couple other gyms before, but first time personal training. Yes. And I gotta say, it was a little bit intimidating. Like when I'm like, I'm 53. I'm probably one of the older guys at your gym. And when I met Lucho, here's this guy who's totally ripped and buff. And I was like, that's really cool, but I don't want to be that buff. I don't want to be that.
Wait, I
And
know.
then
I'm
once we
jealous of
just,
that dude's arms. It's just like,
No, we don't do arms.
no,
we
we don't do
We
arms.
don't do
I
arms.
only pick a gym that doesn't do arms.
Yeah.
Um, and then, um, after talking to Lucho, it was just like he totally understood what I was going for. I'm not going to be a professional athlete anytime soon or in the future.
wait,
And
what? You're
I
not?
know it's hard to believe, but Lucho got it. He's like, no, we're going to prepare you for your current life and later in life. And
Golf.
I never knew how to work out like that at all. Like, I think when people go to high school or go play in sports, it's just like weights, 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 weights. And I didn't want to do that. And I went to Lucho and I explained I had scoliosis. I pulled my back playing golf quite a bit. And he goes, we can fix that. And went on from there.
Nice. Yeah, so I was going to ask like kind of initial goals in the beginning, but so it sounds like wanting to get in shape but also not wanting to be like a hardcore weightlifter kind of.
Exactly.
So kind of just for.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you
Oh,
off.
I was just going to say it sounds kind of just more like fitness for life in a sense, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't trying to, I'm not training for a marathon. I'm not doing anything like that. At my age, the only sport I play is golf, and I'm very passionate about golf. And when you play a lot of golf, the spine's not meant to go like this 100 times a day. And um, Lucho, knowing that I had a scoliosis, he's like, we're just going to build the muscle around your spine and kind of straighten it out as we do it. And when he handed me off to Mike, Mike just took it to the next level. Um, when you golf, you throw out your back at least twice a year, if not 3 times a year. It's
Mm.
gonna happen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the pros have 3 trainers at their beck and call all day long, and all they work on is their back, their legs, and it's not muscle building. It's stretching. And I mean, you guys know I'm preaching to the choir, but that was great. It was just like, no, we're not going to get you buff. We're going to get you stretched out and strengthen the areas that you need. And, it seems simple to just talk about like, oh, I want to just be able to hike. But at my age, I just want to hike. I just want to
Yeah.
play golf. I'm not trying to climb Mount Everest tomorrow, and Lucho found the right program and handed it off to Mike, and it just worked perfectly for me.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example really quick. I know I'm talking a lot, but I played, the pros play 4 days in a row of golf in a tournament. I played 4 days in a row 27 holes in a tournament a friend of mine had in the Valley, and I'm thinking 4 days of 27 holes. That's insane. Thanks to Mike and Lucho, my back felt fine, no pain, no nothing. And that's after 3 years of good work and working on my spine, working on everything I needed. So
That's a
kudos to you
lot, man. You
guys.
said 4 days of 27 holes each
Yeah, and
day.
three 9-hole little tournaments each day.
That's a lot of golf. That's a
That's a lot
lot.
of
A
golf.
lot of
A lot of
golf. Yeah,
twisting.
a lot of twisting. And if
Yeah.
you're not ready for that and you're playing for money, you're going to lose pretty fast.
So how'd you do?
We made it to the playoffs, and we made our money back and then some, but we didn't win it. We took, like, I don't know, maybe 8th place out of 70 teams, so it's good.
Okay.
How was your
Okay.
experience with your body after we
You
started?
know, it it it, it took a long time, and I think Lucho, you might remember, you had me doing side to side workouts, and I was very scared to do that because that's how I threw out my back. And before we moved on to that, you really strengthened my back, and it takes a lot of, like, you guys probably don't, I don't know if you play golf, but to swing 100%, like, and just give it all when you have to, in the back of your mind going, okay, I hope my back just recovers from this swing. And you guys gave me the encouragement and the knowledge, knowing that my back's going to be okay if I swing like that. And that just changed my game dramatically. My scores kept going lower and lower, and
Hmm.
here
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah. We focused on your hip mobility,
Yes,
on your glute strength. And
which I
then,
didn't have at all.
yeah, now it's like you can't even walk through the gym without people looking at your,
Oh, right.
it's
I mean,
crazy. It's crazy.
unfortunately, it's
It's
you
pumped.
guys, but it's all right.
and rotation, trunk rotation, just
Trunk
every
rotation.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overhead rotation, trunk rotation, a lot of coiling movements. We were
A lot
working
of
on that
coiling.
today, where we were working on our,
Yeah.
which you're getting really good, the landmine cleans, which are great for explosive power and all that. So,
Yeah. And Lucho was the first to tell me, and then Mike, you just like pounded it in my head. The worst thing I do is what I'm doing right now. I sit for 10 hours a day on my laptop with my shoulders bent and like this. And that just made my back so much worse. And if I don't work out and I just sit here like this, it just, my posture, everything goes. But the workouts you guys gave me, I'm fine. I could do this during the day, work out with you guys at night, feel fine.
Yeah, because you can't fix scoliosis. You can only try to figure out how to work with it.
yeah.
Yeah. And you kind of, like, if this was my spine, you build the muscle here to kind of pull it straight.
Like whichever side it starts to curve, that's the one side that's going to get it more than the other side, and then you have to like
Yeah.
know how to compensate that. So
And
that
that's why I was
that
so scared to go side to side. Like, if
right.
I pushed it too far, it would just pull my nerves or whatever. And
No,
I
I'm
still
glad.
have a sciatic nerve that, Mike worked on the lower body and my glutes, and I barely feel it now.
So you
So
got
that's
ass now,
right.
huh?
Yeah,
I
man.
mean,
That's great.
my wife would probably say otherwise, but yeah, I mean, it's there. It's there.
It's there. Trust me. Everybody in the room knows. Everybody in the room knows.
I can't wait to check it out when I go
Yeah.
back.
So this is gonna be a weird question, coming from me of all people. And it's okay to answer honestly, Jim. You don't have to worry about it. It's a podcast. You could be perfectly honest. But
No,
aside
I don't
from
like you.
this face, which people can't get enough of, and my stimulating conversation, what what do you enjoy most about your workouts?
You know, to be honest, I mean, you guys may or may not know, I'm sure you do know it. It's like the gym is, for me, it's a place I just do not want to go. But, like, you guys became my friends too. So and in a way, you're also like, you could call a barber or a hairstylist, like someone you can talk to and vent to. I don't look forward to venting to you guys, but you're working out and you're telling me all your problems or your daily life. You guys, like, whether you're listening or not, do a great job of like, but let's do these squats too.
That's
Let's move on.
yeah.
And it's an hour of, I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about what I have to do when I get home. And I feel so good afterwards. There's days when I'm just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But I get in there and you
Yeah.
gradually climb that mountain, and you feel so good after.
Yeah. Once you
It's
cross the threshold, man, it's just
Yeah.
like you made
yeah,
it this far, you know? Yeah.
yeah,
And I swear to God, today, like, something about, when you and I get together and work out, I laugh more, I think, in that hour of time. I know we should be working out, and we do. We get the workout done. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
the laughter is just such the enjoyment, I think, that comes from just cracking jokes and having fun that makes the workout, I think, at least for me,
Yeah, no,
that much more fun.
exactly. The
Yeah.
camaraderie is hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's great.
there's times when you guys are making fun of me, but you know it's coming right back at
It's
you.
usually when you're not
Oh
And
yeah.
there, and it's like all the time.
I had I we all had to be ready for Jim. We
Yeah.
I
all we
mean,
all
I have stories about each one of you that I could bring up
That's
if you would
right.
like. I could I just make three quick stories?
Yeah,
For
of
sure.
course. That's what we're here for.
Well, I remember but I knew Lucho was my guy when, I don't know, we were about 6 months into it, and he's like, "I'll meet you at the gym at 6." I'm like, "Yep." Get to the gym, and he's not there. And Mike, you're like, "Are you waiting for Lucho?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "He's not here." And I go, "Oh,
I,
well, let me text him." And I text him,
I know the story.
and
refresh my memory.
he goes, "Oh crap, I'll be right there." I'm stretching, doing my thing, and then it's like Jeff Spicoli with a cloud came into the gym when Lucho walked in. He did not know he had another workout, and I think he hit Mary Jane a little too hard that day before he came into the gym. And he thought he was done for the day, so all the power to you. Go do what you do your thing. And I just looked at him. I'm like, I like this guy. This is my trainer. Like, we're gonna have fun. It's like he's like he got the gym. Like, I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. Let's just talk about how you got high, and I'm jealous about it.
I
But
I
remember
learned
he
my
texting
lesson.
him. I'm like,
he still came through. I
yeah, he
gotta
did,
tell you.
man. He did. I was
You
texting
know,
him. I'm like, Jim's your client. So it's like, oh shit.
I had it on the wrong day. I had it on the wrong day. I thought I was
Other than
done.
that, you've always been professional and dead on. And
That's
then
hysterical.
Peter, I gotta call you out. I never called you out on this one. You had a coffee thing at the gym where you put out this table, and you're
Oh
like,
yeah,
"Hey,
yeah,
here's some
yeah,
coffee and donuts." I don't know if like your frat days came out for that presentation, because it was just like a jug of coffee in a box, and you kept
yeah.
telling people, "Help yourself." I'm like, "To what? The jug or the table was like a poker table?" I know I'm not selling the gym very well right now, but
It
you
was
guys,
college dorm chic is what we
Yeah, it was,
had.
chug some I was hoping someone would like just pick up the thing and, you know.
I think Peter was like, grab a whole thing on the way out. Just grab the whole thing and take it with you.
and then, not to scare the ladies coming to this gym, but when Jesse does the Captain Morgan stance, it's the funniest thing, because that's when he's like, "Oh, I like this girl. I'm gonna go talk to her." And he just puts his knee up like this.
Oh God, it's so him.
Hey, so you want to work out here? So yeah, I like. Oh, he's doing the Captain Morgan. Let's go. It's a guaranteed client.
That's the perfect analogy because you're right. That's what he does. He puts one leg
Yeah,
up and
yeah,
he did this.
With the little shorts on.
yeah. I mean, might as well wear dolphin shorts, Jesse. It's just like that's.
Oh,
But I gotta say, you guys have a good. It just works. You don't know until you go into the gym and see how you guys interact with the class and people who come in for the first time, and it just works. Like
it's a team
I
effort.
gotta say, when I went in for the first time, I was a little intimidated by Lucho's size, and like I didn't know what was going on with the class, and there was some, you had a young kid with an old lady, and I was like, "What's going on here?" But then you get into it, and next thing you know, an hour later, you're done. You're just
Hmm.
spent, and that's what people go there for. It's great, and it's a
Hmm.
great atmosphere.
Hmm. Let
That's
me ask,
cool.
so on a whole nother, like, outside of the workouts, like, has your eating changed at all since you started this on the nutrition side of things?
Yes. I think when I met Lucho, I had told him like I had just finished, my partying days are over, and I was very serious about like I have to get my health in shape, and I feel like nutrition wise, I'm probably not the best at eating the right foods, because it's just my job. It's like, okay, I got a lunch break, I'm going to eat, and I try and eat the best thing for me at the time, but sometimes it's just not available. And I'm not the only one going through this. I think 90% of America is going through that. And but you notice when you get to a point in your workout, like, okay, the muscles are there, I'm feeling good, but I still have this like little belly here, and there's nothing you guys can really do about that unless I start eating right or start doing cardio better. And I'm getting better and better as time goes on, just because, I'm getting older. I have to eat better. If there's one thing I could say, what you guys do is you put it in the back of our heads of like you can work out as much as you want, but if you're just gonna drink alcohol and party and eat crap and hamburgers, there's only so far you guys can take us. So it's still up to the client to kind of do their part. And I'm probably doing it at a little bit of a slower regiment than what someone who's a 1000% dedicated and getting skinny. And I have lost weight and I've gained muscle, but you know, over time, I'm not going to kill myself to be like, the most fit person in the world. But yeah, thanks to you guys, it's important to hear you guys going, Jim, you look good, but let's stop eating that ice
Yeah.
cream at late at night.
Do you take any supplements to help out?
Not really. And, I think Mike and I have been talking about like, he was telling me about creatine and maybe trying that. And I asked my doctor, he goes, there's no side effects. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Um, I mean, I'll take a few vitamins like turmeric and vitamin C and all that, but I don't take anything like that. I think I'd like to maybe take a more detailed blood test and see what I can and can't do before I go to that next level. And then if you guys have any advice of what do you think I should do, I mean, I'm happy
That
to
is the
listen.
advice. Get involved. Get those blood
Yeah.
tests. Get your information.
Yeah,
Then talk to
exactly.
Mike, or you can talk to me. Send a message so that way you just stay involved. You stay involved. You stay motivated to do something. It'll
And
happen.
that's what you guys are good at. You're good at like, hey, if you have any questions, I know I can email or text you guys anytime, and you're really quick at getting back to me, and that's helpful. It's more of like when you say a personal gym, you guys make it personal, and that's great. That's what people are looking for.
And
So
I'd even add in like just based off what you said, if you're noticing, you're building muscle, you're losing body fat, you're feeling good. At the end of the day, like that kind of tells you a lot right there. You're kind of
Yeah,
like whatever you're doing is good. Like there's, like
yeah,
Mike with the Mike suggesting creatine, those little things can for sure be a boost. But like if you're, if you were coming in the session, you're like, damn man, I'm so tired and you're not performing well, then we got to start to look at something. But it sounds like whatever you're doing the right thing in terms of what you're putting in your body. Like the needle's moving in the right direction.
yeah. That I feel. And then today, as we were working out, Mike and I were talking about sugar. That's like my biggest downfall. I used to be a big drinker, and I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank in 3+ years, and the first thing you miss or what is sugar, because that alcohol turned into sugar. It's still very hard for me to ignore sugar. I think with this workout that Mike has me going on, the regiment with cutting out sugar, I think it's just a matter of time till the belly weight starts going faster.
Do you have any like guilty pleasures that are hard to avoid? Like things you're like, damn man, I can't skip. If I see this, I'm gonna eat it.
What's your
Yeah.
cocaine?
Well, it's assisted by probably maybe a gummy at night, and then you get that little munchie, and I have to have some kind of either chocolate or ice cream, one or the other.
mm,
And my wife, Michelle, who I think you guys have all met, she's just like, stop or just do this non-fun, tasty keto, no sugar, no fun ice cream. I'm like, yeah, I tried that and threw it right away.
there you
So
can.
I
Yeah,
can do that, but if that's it, I'll be fine. But
yeah,
it's like it's at work, like, oh yeah, you show up, and I guarantee you, 90% of your listeners have this problem. When they go to work, you go to the little kitchenette, and there's like 50 donuts, bagels, and just crap all over. Like, I'm starving. Like, I gotta grab that before that meeting.
yeah.
That stuff is what I gotta stop.
Yeah.
the discipline on that is tough because it's
That's
all
just because
mental.
you're starving during the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And then, I've never gotten back to you, Lucho, about, you did those drinks, those fasting drinks, and you would only eat one meal a day. I'm like, I'm so far away from that, but eventually I'd want to get there. And then little by little I'll get there. I'm not that guy's just gonna stop one day and just like, I'm not eating sugar.
No, it's a
Little by
you know
little.
when you start to realize that eating can be addictive,
Yeah.
and your the time you eat, if you stop that time from eating, you'll feel that withdrawal hit you so hard. But you
Yeah.
can't train your body, but it's a commitment you have to like really enforce into yourself to like stop, and then you have to just be patient because it is a while before the body starts to reprogram itself to
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
want to eat at a certain time. But that's always challenging.
It's the timing. And Mike and I were just talking about sugar. Like, I'll put yogurt with fruit on in the morning, and I'll put a little agave nectar on it. I don't need that agave nectar, but I like it. So like today I didn't. And I'm not having those highs and crashes like down from sugar. So if I could just keep it kind of steady, that's great. And eating at a good time, what you said, Lucho, always helps too.
Yeah, and there's ways that you could have your cake and eat it too, so to speak. Like dark chocolate instead of milk chocolate.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of health benefits off of dark chocolate. Anything like 70% cacao and higher, and like on the, Michelle's right, your wife's right about like frozen yogurt as opposed to ice cream and things like that,
Mhm.
because ice cream is, if you get good ice cream like Haagen-Dazs, it's milk, eggs, cream, sugar, and whatever the flavoring is, vanilla bean or whatever. Those things are not like in and of themselves bad. They're not bad. It's the coloring and the fillers and the, all that other stuff that come into play. But if you're sugar with protein, essentially, milk and eggs with your those things, especially post workout. I don't know about before you go to bed, unless you've had a really hard workout and you're going to recover, while you're sleeping. But post workout, actually, that's not a it's not as bad as it sounds, but a little bit, not a
Yeah.
whole, thing, like one of those little single servings, which is like 2 bites and you're done with it. That not
Something that
terrible.
you guys taught me, and it was just horrible. And when I first started working out, because I think Lucho thought I was going to die at first, because I would eat tons before I go to the gym.
Oh,
And he was like, dude, you got to do like 1 to 2 hours before.
yeah,
And that changed my workout dramatically because I wasn't sluggish during the workout. I wasn't getting like Lucho and Mike, you explained how like the body doesn't know whether the blood should go to the muscles or continue to digest your food. And
right.
I didn't know any of that until I met you guys.
Yeah.
It's hard for someone who's 53 when you were somewhat of an athlete in high school going into college, and then you just stop and you think you know how to work out and you don't. And you think you know what to eat and you don't. And then you go to someone like you guys and like, oh, I've been doing this wrong this whole time. And thank you guys for that.
Yeah, of
Oh, you
course.
got it, man.
Huge.
You
We
know, in
don't
our
understand.
last
You come in and
our
work your
last
ass off. So
podcast.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so I was going to say on our last podcast, Bozzy, he made a good comment of when we were talking about nutrition. He was saying how one of the things he likes about working out is it gives him the opportunity to eat a little bit more of the things that quote
That's
unquote
one
shouldn't be
way.
eating. It's like, so it gives you that little buffer if you can indulge in things because you're like,
You're
I am
moving.
active, I am burning more calories, my metabolism is moved. Because you also have to be realistic of like, no one's gonna not eat whatever, and trainers, we go in like we will try. I've been on vacation with Lucho a lot of times. Like if you see that guy after dinner when he's like, I gotta eat something sweet, like that man goes ham on dessert. So like, it's just all in moderation. We work out,
Yeah.
but then there's also those times when, dude, we're gonna eat it all also. So and the good thing
Yeah.
is when you're active, you've built muscle mass, you have good metabolism, you can treat yourself too. So it's always good to like remember that, eat the whatever it is, the craziest double fudge chunk. Just
right.
don't have it at home where you're doing it Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's the
Exactly.
secret. Don't buy
Yeah,
it for the house. When you're indulging, it
yeah.
stays outside. It
Yeah,
stays
that's a good
outside.
key.
Because
That's
I
the
think one of
way.
the issues people get this image of like trainers or we are disciplined, but we're like, yeah, but we will still have all the stuff. It's
Right.
just it's in moderation.
I have a
I
question for
yeah.
all three of you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lucha.
Oh, I was gonna say what I do to control my craving, because that is my biggest weakness, is sweet. I have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Is I don't eat any starches. I just eat fruit.
Yeah.
Juicy sweet fruit.
But no
And
bananas or anything like that.
no, I'll eat like mangoes. Now that I'm in tropical places, even in Spain, I eat a lot of the tropical fruits because it's an abundance where you don't have it in America. So one of my favorites is eating mangoes and custard apple, and that to me is like dessert, right? But it's still sugar, but it's well balanced with all these other properties of fiber and its other uh, uh, cancer fighting properties. But it craves my sweet part,
Yeah.
right?
As long as
But
that craving goes away, you're good.
Yeah.
but keep moving my body actually balances it out even more because I don't crave it as much. But when it
And
comes to
that's
the
something that
weekend
you
when I don't
guys
move,
have.
yeah,
That's what you guys have over someone who sits at a desk all day long, like myself, is that you're on your feet. What's the percentage of the day?
a
80%
lot.
of the day?
A
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
lot,
a
and that's the
90%
lot.
of the day?
secret.
a lot.
That's the other thing is not being stationary. It's like
Yeah.
moving. You got to move the main mover, which is your hips and your core. If that's moving, that's controlling your weight problem too.
Yeah. I mean, it's smart to just every half hour get off your desk and maybe
Yeah, got
walk
to move
around
it.
and go back. Yeah. The question I have for you guys is, and it's more geared toward me versus maybe any other your clients you have, is I'm only working out twice a week and we're working out pretty hard for that 1 hour. What would you suggest for someone of my age who has works, sometimes into the weekends and stuff like that? Is obviously 3 times would be better than 2 times, obviously, but sometimes you just can't schedule that. So would you recommend you have to figure out a third day to get in there, or a third day of cardio, or maybe those workouts that are twice a week, they're 2 hours instead of 1 hour? Or what do you
Here,
guys?
so here's the thing. I told this to another client of mine, Lori, and she did this and it helped her out. Is if you're gonna sit and then you can't fight that sitting part, is to change your behavior in sitting by changing the tool. Get a stability ball. That'll force your core
Mm,
to activate. That's one solution is that worked for her. Another one is try to find a solution with your eating and try to figure out how to move more. Just move, walk. Just move. Because if you know you can't put in that third hour,
yeah,
then you have to figure out what other opportunities can you create, like you when you walk your dog. Walk your dog a little longer. So the
yeah.
more
But
the
I think all
body's
three of
moving.
you seen my dog. Well, it's a basset hound. They don't walk. They
They
go
don't
like across the street and call it a day. We call a timeout.
walk around your dog then.
Yeah,
No, but I know what you're saying, Lucho. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to find little holes that you could just eliminate the sitting part where you're moving upright. And as long as you can add that to your weak behavior, then that's small increments that could lead to something later on. It's just getting into that practice of getting out of an old way into a new way.
yeah.
Does
I
that make
like.
sense?
I guarantee me, Lucho, and Mike have all done 2 hour training sessions in the past. I think after like 30, 35, no one's doing
No,
that. It's two
no one's
hours of
doing it.
training is like, and like I used to, yeah, like I said, I'm sure we've all done that in our past, but
Mhm.
like, nah, man, it sucks. And
Yeah. Okay.
you're just gonna see after an hour, you're gonna see a drop off. You're gonna be bored. Like you're not gonna be performing well. Like you could do
Right.
a lot in an hour. Like a lot of us, if you see Lucho, Mike, and I, we're a lot of our workouts might be 30 to 45 minutes sometimes, and we're just boom. It's
Yeah.
the intensity. The intensity trumps the duration, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But
No, that's
2 days
for
a week
sure.
is a pretty 2 days a week coupled with just outside activity, like Lucho was saying, you can see some great. Because how many days a week
Yeah.
do you golf?
At least try it once a week.
Yeah, so you're doing 2 days of strength, one
one
day
day
of
of golf.
golf, and then like Lucho said, like the low hanging fruit is usually steps, getting that
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 hours of training post 30 years old. I'm like, unless you're LeBron and you're getting paid millions of dollars to do that, that
Yeah. That ain't
ain't
gonna
happening.
happen.
Yeah, or you're on the juice or something.
On the juice, yeah.
There's a
yeah.
solution. Get on the juice.
Yeah, well, little
Did you
T.
hear about this new thing in Vegas,
Tee
guys?
me up. What's
They're
that?
starting a whole sports league where everyone is on steroids.
You're joking.
That would actually be
No,
really cool. That's gonna be some
and they're
amazing
seeing what the
performances.
human body can do at a certain level of
Isn't
enhancing
that called
drugs.
the Mr. Olympic?
Yeah.
I
What
I have no
sport? Like
idea.
what are they
I don't know.
doing?
I don't know what sports they're going to be showing.
I mean, at the end of the
Whether it's going
day,
to be like,
that's the Olympics and NFL. I mean, all those guys are juiced, but it's
Yeah.
kind of so now they're
but
just
now,
like, we don't even care. Just do as much as you
Yeah.
want. Like,
Yeah. You got to keep selling tickets by creating
wow.
records,
Wow.
performances.
yeah, I don't know what sport it is. I don't know if it's going to be like American Ninja or if it's going to be like, if it's just basketball, it could be boring. But
But yeah,
to see someone who's just, no, I took this amount of whatever,
Ha.
like enhancing drug,
that's nuts.
and because
Wow.
every person who competes against, they all have to take the same amount and just see where it goes. And then
Wow.
maybe the next game, they all take a higher dose.
Yeah.
There's doctors involved, so no one just keels over and dies.
Until the
That's
roid
cool.
rage kicks in, and then they're all fighting
Yeah,
each
maybe they
other.
all beat the shit out of each other. I don't
Yeah,
know.
none of them are gonna live past like 55. But yeah, fuck it.
But there's this weightlifter, sort of an old school kettlebell guy, Russian guy named Pavel, that I've read up on, and he also has a method of training or adding to your current training. So you were saying you were training 2 days a week, obviously, and you're saying, should I increase it or stay the same, or how could I add in more volume to my training, and get better results? And so he has this method called grease the groove. Pavel does. And so what it is basically like, imagine like you want to get better at pull-ups, right? And traditional philosophies or traditional protocols would say, well, you're going to do a lot of pull-ups until you fail, and then you wait a little, whatever, a couple days, do more pull-ups, wait a couple days, progressive periodizing where you maybe add weights to it, so on and so forth. Pavel actually goes the other way around. And he says, no. Here's what you do. You do like, you have a pull-up bar wherever, say in your office, in the doorway, you've got a pull-up bar. It says every 2 or 3 hours, you're going to walk up and you're going to do, say you can do max out at like 6 pull-ups, right? Say that's your max. Every 2 or 3 hours, you're going to go up to that pull-up bar and you're going to do 3 pull-ups. 3. You're not going to overload yourself. You're not going to work to lactic thresholds. You're not going to tire yourself out. You're not going to be winded, exhausted. You're just going to do 3 pull-ups. And then every 2 or 3 hours, you're going to go and do 3 pull-ups, greasing the groove. And there's been studies, and he quoted the studies. I can't quote them off the top of my head, but people who participated in this style of training actually increased their strength in whatever movement pattern, whatever exercise they were trying, push up, pull up, row, whatever it was. They actually improved quicker using grease the groove method as opposed to using a progressive overload periodization method. So for you're sitting at your desk, every 2 hours, go do 10 body weight squats. And I know you're good for at least like 15, 20 push-ups. If I were to say, just gas yourself out, do like 8 push-ups and like 10 body weight squats every 2 or 3 hours for a day. And that would be a great way to add in the equivalent of like an extra day of extra workout day.
I never even thought of it like
into
that.
Time
your
and pressure.
yeah. There's all kinds of articles and studies about like busy executives like yourself, celebrities, politicians, lawyer, whatever. How do they manage to stay in shape and still continue their productivity? And this method of just doing a little bit over a longer period of time can also be
Okay.
be
I'll
helpful.
give it a try.
Yeah.
Can't hurt.
Yeah. Grease the groove. So that brings us to our next question is like, what are your you've already done what 130 holes of golf over the course of 4 days. So where's the future gym look like? Are you going to look to add maybe another day? Or are you maybe going to try this grease the groove?
New
What's it
sport,
look like? New sport,
I
maybe?
MMA.
no, no, I don't.
Please,
I'm
I
strictly
want to train
golf.
you in MMA so bad.
You
We're
can
gonna
kick in the
roll
nuts, then
around. We're
maybe
gonna
I'd do
roll.
it.
We're gonna do a lot of wrestling. Just you and I.
Um, yeah, no Roman Greco stuff.
He
It's just
said,
gonna
"Yeah,
be
yeah, no, we're not
it's
doing
just
that."
gonna be golf. I've like I have more of a passion for golf than I do any other kind of sport. So yeah, I mean, if I can play golf well into my 80s, because I've met a guy who was 90 and he was shooting just as good as I was. I'd love to do that. I Golf is more than just, a competition. It's 4 hours of out in nature in a beautiful setting, and you're not thinking about your health. You're not thinking about work. You're not thinking about issues at home or whatever. It's a mind fix as well as it is you're out getting a little exercise. It's not the best sport for you, but I hope to see myself playing golf for the rest of my life.
What part of playing golf has improved from training at Real Fitness
Oh, that's a
that
great
you
question.
notice? Like what is it that you feel like, oh man, I dominate this move now?
Well, even though when I was younger, I still didn't hit it as far as I do now because I was never working out ever. After high school, I just stopped, never worked out. And then I played a lot of golf, and I remember seeing I remember going to a driving range and seeing Loyola High School team was at the driving range, and every little brat kid was hitting it further than I was, and I was like, what? And I was more experienced than they were, and they were just not that they were better than me; they were just consistently hitting it right down the middle, a good 20 yards further than I was, and I'm like, I just looked at their swing, and it was like their back was being just torqued harder than I could ever do it. And I said, I'd love to get the muscle to do that in my back. It's not such an arm thing. It's a rhythm thing, and being able to go back as far as you can and follow through as far as you can. And once I started, you guys helped out my back tremendously and gained the muscle in the right area. I could swing like that kid, and there's no way he's going to outdrive me now. I played with guys who could go on the tour, and I'm hitting it just as far as them. Some guys I'm passing. I think my average drive was 250 before I started working out with you guys. It's close to 300 now.
Wow.
It
That's
adds
great.
it makes a big difference in your next shot in the game because you want to be as close to that green as you can so the shot's easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
The further away, the bigger chances of you guys missing the green, missing.
Do you have a
So I would say
behavior?
it's strength.
Do you have a behavior now of warming up or activating before you play now because you started realizing I got to do this before I swing? Like,
Yeah, I could spend 2 minutes on my golf swing on the range and be ready to play because I know I if I'm stretched and I got the muscle and the confidence to go, I'm ready to just go. I don't as long as I stretch and warm up my back, so I know that that's what I'm going to be using most of the day. I'm fine. I don't need to practice too much more. I mean, there you always have to practice, of course, but it the biggest thing for, at least for golf, it's here. If you go into the round, or say you got like $1,000 bet going on for the round, I'm looking at that guy. There's no way you're going to beat me. I'm going to hit it further than you. I'm going to hit it better than you, and you guys gave me the strength to do that. So it's a plus.
that's great. I just noticed that we're wearing glasses, the 350-year-olds.
Yes.
Yes, the one lucky one. But wait, it's coming. It's coming.
Man,
Well,
it's coming.
It's
I
coming,
gotta
Peter.
say, another plus of joining this gym is other than Lucho, most of you guys were all bald. So I felt like I had a nice quaff
Oh
going
yeah,
into that
man. Here,
gym.
yeah.
I was like, oh, who's the young kid coming in here?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, they give me
Cool.
shit for having hair. I never
Hey,
felt like the victim.
let them give you shit, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, man.
We don't give you shit so much for having hair as being a hairstylist, I think, is where
He's like
That's the
Forrest Gump.
cherry.
He can do it all.
he does every. You're like, you're a what?
The
Yeah,
cherry
Jim, I
top
got
is
one last question for you on here. Man, for all the gyms of the world that are not going to a Real Fitness and doing personal training, the other guys like you sitting out there, but they're not working out. What's your advice to them to get started, to get on a journey like you did?
It kind of took me like, Lucho and I may have talked about this a long time ago. I know it's hard to believe. I actually was a decent athlete in high school, and I played a lot of volleyball because I grew up on the beach here in Playa del Rey. I played corner in football, and I was in great shape. And then next thing you know, your life kind of changes. You got to get in the corporate world. You're working, and you never see the light of day anymore. And I'm just sitting there getting fatter, losing muscle, and a great, like I mentioned before, a great inspiration with my wife, who her whole family and herself, they work out all the time. And I'm like, well, she looks great. I look like a hump of crap. So I was sick of looking like that. I know better than that. And just like, you got to want to do it for yourself. If no one's going to, I want my wife to be happy. I don't want her to go like, I'm with that fat guy. I want her to be like, okay, that's my husband. And it just was like a little bit of a motivation. And I was sick of just being a little bit overweight and not having the muscle of the things I wanted to do. If you don't want to do it for yourself, you're never going to do it. And having a trainer like Mike and Lucho, who've been my trainers, and I don't want to hear from them like, hey, they skipped a whole week, pal. That the fact that I'm paying and have a trainer, you feel like an obligation. You have to go to the gym. And pretty soon that obligation kind of went away. Like, no, I want to go to the gym. I'm seeing results. This is good. Until you feel like you need to do it for yourself, you're not going to do it right. And if you want to just sit there and be that fat guy on the couch all day, be that guy. But I was sick of being that guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having a little bit of athleticism when you were younger is like, I want to go back to that guy,
Yeah.
even
yeah,
though I didn't
yeah.
have the time or energy to do it. I would
Well, that's
say,
good.
yeah,
Yeah. Good.
Glad we
Thank
did
you
that for you, man.
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys very much.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us and all you're going to inspire a bunch of, hopefully people hear this. We get a bunch of gyms walking through the door
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
next week. So,
better looking gyms, but yeah.